Who the hell knows with these things? It seems like there's no real rhyme or reason. But I mean, if there ever was a case for an appeal, he's got it. He 100% has it. He's also, unfortunately, probably been robbed of millions of dollars, because if he wins that fight, the rematch is even bigger. Now, to his point, there's a rematch clause that Gervonta...
Sure, but I actually understand why the New York State Athletic Commission did not want to overturn the result. Basically, they're saying that rounds 10, 11, and 12, they don't know how Gervonta Davis and even Lamont Roach would have adjusted to their, their fighting strategies and all that if a knockout had been scored. Obviously, that changes the trajectory of the fight.
Tank entered the ring to fight Lamont Roach, thinking it would be another easy win, but instead, he left with more controversy than victory. Since then, Tank has faced a lot of criticism from fans who think he should have lost. On top of that, he has legal problems, and we might see him leave the sport soon.
He did it. They upheld the draw, but they said the referee should have counted as a knockdown. So they said it was a knockdown, but they wasn't going to change the decision.
To be fair, this isn't a big surprise, because Tank had already said that 2025 would be his last year in boxing. The problem is, it might not be his choice. From the start of the fight, Tank was very confident, telling Roach directly that he wasn't going to win, like he already knew how it would end. But when the fight went all the way to the end, it was clear that things didn't go as he planned. That's when the criticism started to come his way.
How they go off of Gervonta Davis taking a knee and then going midway, Steve Willis,
yeah.
Doing the 4 count and then stops it.
That was crazy.
And then they allow it, and then they call it a draw, and then they say they try to overturn it, but they can't overturn it. It's already done. The gig is up. And then they keep it a draw, but they change the rules.
If I'm a boxer, if I get dropped, I'm gonna tell the ref to stop.
Yeah.
Tank did it.
Yeah.
Hey, stop. No.
Yeah, you gotta finish that count.
Yeah.
When Floyd got hurt, he hurt his hand, and one of his hands, I don't even think he touched the canvas, but they started right away. Give him the 8 count.
Yeah.
Give him a 10 count, at least he beat it. But this is my problem with today's sport of boxing, is that everyone's changing their sanctioning rules, and they make them, and they create them. But for
the judges called the fight a draw. While Davis might have been okay with that, Roach's team didn't agree. Almost right away, Roach's camp asked for the result to be changed, saying their fighter had done enough to win. However, after looking into it, the commission decided the draw would stay. That decision should have ended the issue, but Roach's team wasn't ready to give up. They then focused on a new argument, one that could have serious consequences for Davis. During the fight, Tank did something that made fans, experts, and even the commission question what happened. Midway through, Tank took a knee and asked for a towel, which was like asking for a break. That's not how boxing works. The rules are clear, and fighters are told them before the fight.
Quick rinse, back in. Don't throw anything in the ring. Need my attention for anything, go through the inspections. Okay. Just another fight. Just another fight. No need to get too deep about it. All right, just another fight. All right, been here before. So, see you.
In boxing, there are no timeouts or breaks for resting. When a fighter takes a knee, it's the referee's job to count and decide if the fighter can keep going. This is one of the reasons why Tank is facing legal trouble. According to Lamont Roach's lawyers, Tank did something in the ring that shouldn't have happened, and he wasn't held responsible for it. They argue that this shows how bad the sport is, as it seems to favor the top fighters. Their point is that since Tank is a fan favorite, he wasn't given a harsh decision to keep his fans happy. They believe Tank should face the consequences, even if that means taking away his boxing license.
That should have been an 8 count. The ref is a very professional ref. He's one of the best in the world, but he made a big mistake right there. He helped the star, and when you know who the star is and who you're protecting, you still have to be fair, man. You still have to be fair because Roach walked away with the draw, but he should have been champion right now. And even though they already promised him a rematch, they already told him, I'm pretty sure they already told him how much he's gonna make in the rematch. He's still not a champion right now, and he should. Sometimes fighters prefer being a world champion than getting that big purse, because being a world champion is something special to them. And even though Roach is already a world champion at 130, but moving up to being a two division champion, beating somebody like Tank is huge for him, for his career, for his family, for his trainer, for everybody. I think that should have been a knockdown.
If there's anyone adding to this, it's Ryan Garcia. He's never one to stay quiet about boxing controversies and has spoken out again about the situation. During an appearance on the Ring Champs with AK and Bark podcast, Garcia didn't hold back in criticizing Tank Davis for his performance against Roach. He questioned if the result was fair. Garcia said Tank did what he usually does, giving away rounds, and that Lamont always had an answer for him. He mentioned that whenever Tank tried to pick up the pace, Roach always responded. Garcia thought Roach boxed perfectly. For Garcia, the main issue wasn't just the score, but how Tank fought. He felt Tank lacked aggression and that Roach had. Figured him out, making it a fight that should have ended differently.
When I'm not sharp here, anything happens.
Yo, Ryan, what do you think about the knockdown? The knockdown was taken.
That was a knockdown, without a doubt. You can't spin it no other way. It's too clear. And I think the commission needs to do something about it because it can give me an incentive, anytime I'm not feeling good in a fight, take a knee.
Will they set a precedent?
That's not a shot at Tank. I respect Tank and I like Tank a lot.
More importantly, Garcia called on the commission to take action over the knee incident. I thought Lamont won, Garcia continued. And I think the commission needs to do something about that knee because if they don't, everyone will think we can take a knee whenever we want. They have to do something about it. I mean, they did something about me, so they need to do something about others. Rules are rules, right? With the controversy growing, Lamont Roach Jr. also spoke out, though he took a more measured approach. And appearing on the Come and Talk to Me podcast, Roach defended Davis's skills, but made sure to emphasize that the fight had been a real test for both men. I definitely want people to know that he was on his game that night, Roach said. Just because he didn't live up to expectations doesn't mean he fought a bad fight. People saying he's trash now and overrated, he's a good fighter. While it may have sounded like a show of respect, there was an underlying message in Roach's words. He wants people to believe he faced the best version of Tank Davis, not a fighter on the decline. If the narrative shifts to Tank losing his edge, it will take away from what Roach accomplished in the fight.
Man, he got lucky in the draw. He did a good fight, though. I thought he won it, but man, he gotta just create more action. That's a sparring session as far as I'm concerned. But goddamn, that's not the part that I know.
So, while Roach defended Davis's ability, it was clear that he wanted to keep the focus on his own performance. Meanwhile, outside opinions kept coming in. Promoter Eddie Hearn spoke out, saying Davis shouldn't be disqualified over the incident, but public opinion was already starting to turn against him. If the commission let him off too easily, it would only fuel accusations of favoritism. On the other hand, if they punished him too harshly, it could be seen as an overreaction. Either way, Tank was now stuck in a situation where there was no easy way out.
I haven't watched the fight. We had a show that night. I've watched the full fight. One thing that's kind of baffling is that it wasn't a knockdown. I mean, look, he wasn't hurt. There's no doubt about that. But if you take a knee in the fight and you touch down, whilst punches are being thrown, it has to be a knockdown. I've heard some people say now that he should be disqualified. He went back to the corner. I don't buy that, to be honest with you. I mean, I think that's a warning. But it's a bit of a bizarre situation. For me, there was a lot of people in boxing that were saying that this is a really tough fight. Lamont Roach is a serious fighter. I said it might not be the biggest profile fight, but it's actually quite a tough fight. And Shakur said to me, even the day before, I'm telling you, he's going to have big trouble tomorrow night. And I just feel like hopefully this could be...
When it seemed like things couldn't get any more complicated, John Jones entered the conversation. The UFC legend, widely considered one of the greatest mixed martial artists of all time, made a surprising offer to Davis. The two had met before, which already caused some talk in the combat sports world, but now it seems John Jones had something else to say following all the legal troubles surrounding Tank. In a video that quickly went viral on social media, Jones invited Tank to step into the world of MMA, even offering to personally train him. "When are we going to get you in the cage?" Jones asked Davis. "I'll teach you myself, man. I'll teach you how to grapple, jiu-jitsu, all that, a little wrestling. It'll be easy for you, bro. Those hands right there, ain't nobody trying to see them. Oh man, you got so much time. I see super fights in your future, bro. Nobody wants any problems with you, my guy." was a bold move, but perhaps not an unexpected one. Jon Jones has long been an advocate for crossover fights, and with Davis now facing serious trouble in boxing, the idea of a fresh start in MMA could suddenly seem more appealing. While Tank didn't fully commit to anything, his response raised eyebrows. "Let's do it," he said. "I'm willing to do it." That single statement sparked a wave of speculation. If Davis truly considered stepping into MMA, it would be one of the biggest combat sports crossovers in recent memory. And with Dana White openly discussing bringing the UFC's business model into boxing, the timing of it all couldn't be more interesting.
We have just done a deal to start a new boxing league with Turkey, who absolutely loves the sport of boxing.
I am very happy today. I give the flag of boxing to the best man who can handle it. He have a tough job now, but I am sure he will be delivering to the people and the fans a magnificent league and get boxing great again.
The model is proven to deliver the fights that the fans want to see. The best will fight the best, and the fighters will continue to move up the rankings and become world champions. We will continue to make announcements on where you can watch and all the rest of the...
But perhaps the only reason they can't do away with Tank is the number of fights lined up for him. First, the rematch with Roach is now more than just an idea. It's a necessity. If the referee had ruled Davis's knee a knockdown, Lamont Roach Jr. would have walked away with a career-defining victory, and the boxing world wouldn't be in an uproar. But that didn't happen, and now the only way to settle this is by running it back. This rematch was already mandatory in case of a draw or a loss for Tank.
Saying that the fact that I do watch him fight, you know what I'm saying? Like, I really like boxing.
Are you open to immediate rematch?
In my contract, immediate rematch was signed. I signed for the immediate rematch when I signed for the first fight.
Right.
Just in case he lost or just in case it was a draw.
So when you got a rematch...
According to reports, both camps are already on board, with a potential date set for June 21st in Las Vegas. The fact that it's happening so soon shows just how much people want clarity. There's no belt dispute or mandatory obligation, just a strong feeling that the fight needs a definitive ending. What makes this rematch even more interesting is how the perception of Davis has changed since their first fight. Before their initial encounter, Roach Jr. was seen as an overachieving underdog. Now, he's the man many believe should have already beaten Davis, and that changes everything. Fighters who are expected to lose but prove they can compete often come back in rematches with even more confidence. That's exactly what Roach is counting on. This time, he won't have to fight for respect. He's already earned it. Now, he just needs to finish the job.
Tank want a rematch. Do you let me know now? Do you want to fight Tank again? He said he going to do a rematch. Do you want to fight Tank again?
100%. It's only a matter of time. We're gonna fight. We're gonna fight again. It's just whenever the fight gonna happen.
So it's going to happen.
It's going to happen.
Okay. They say they want in New York game. Do you want to fight again in the Barclays Center?
I wouldn't mind, but I love for it to be in DC.
Meanwhile, Davis finds himself in an unfamiliar position. He's no longer the clear favorite. His performance against Roach Jr. raised legitimate concerns about whether his best days are behind him, and even among his supporters, doubt is starting to creep in. The idea that Davis might be slowing down isn't just coming from fans, it's spreading among fighters too. Undefeated prospect Julian Gonzalez, who initially expected Davis to dominate, has changed his stance. "I think I had Lamont Roach. I'm not gonna lie," Gonzalez admitted. "But I wasn't mad at the draw. I'm rocking with Lamont, though. It's hard. Lamont surprised me a lot, so I'm with Lamont." We can understand why Lamont Roach is now seen as a real threat to Tank. Tank knows it too, and maybe that's why he's been hesitant to talk about the rematch.
I'm not sure, bro. Hopefully we can get it.
Is that the one you want next?
That's definitely the one I want next. But it's not. You might say anyway.
And Gonzalez isn't alone. Many in the boxing world who once saw Davis as an almost invincible force are now noticing cracks in his armor. The aura of invincibility that made him so feared is beginning to fade, and Roach Jr. has positioned himself as the fighter who could break it completely. But the real question is, how will Davis respond? If he truly felt that Roach Jr. was never on his level, this should be the perfect opportunity to prove it. If he's still the same knockout artist who made his name by dismantling opponents, then the rematch should be his to win. But if Roach Jr. is as good as he showed the first time, and if he really has figured out Davis, then this fight might confirm what many are starting to believe, that Tank is no longer the same fighter he once was. Roach Jr. has not been letting up, and neither have the fans. The controversy from his fight against Tank Davis refuses to die down, and Roach is making sure it stays front and center. While the official result was a majority draw, Roach has spent the past few weeks making it clear that he believes he won, and he's not backing down from that stance. Since the fight, Roach has been everywhere, appearing on major podcasts, engaging with the media, and keeping the pressure on both Davis and the Boxing Commission. Every interview, post, and comment has been designed to keep the conversation alive. But this week, he took things a step further, going straight at Tank's fan base with a viral post that sparked even more debate. Within hours, the post had racked up over 215K views, and within 2 days, it had more than 425 comments, most of them from Davis supporters who weren't happy with Roach's confidence. It's classic fight promotion, and Roach knows exactly what he's doing. By calling out Tank's fans directly, he's making sure this narrative doesn't die down anytime soon. The more people argue about the decision, the more pressure builds for the rematch. And from the way things are looking, Roach is playing the long game, keeping himself in the spotlight and making sure that by the time the rematch happens, the energy is at an all-time high.
All the talk throughout the years, when you would do against somebody like Tank, your style versus his, was that not the blueprint? And can you not do 10x that? Shakur, tell us something, bro. Like, what you think about the decision? Okay. But what do you think about the decision? Throw them on one. Got you. Got to talk to you.
Of course, Davis's fans weren't going to let that slide. They flooded the comments, some mocking Roach for crying over a draw, while others reminded him that, in their eyes, he didn't do enough to take the belt. But Roach clearly anticipated that response. This isn't just about defending his case. It's about stirring the pot, keeping his name in the headlines, and making sure that when he steps into the ring with Davis again, people are watching for more than just the fight. Roach has successfully shifted the conversation. It's no longer just about whether the knee should have been a knockdown or whether Tank did enough to secure a win. Now, it's about whether Roach is right to be this confident, whether he really did expose Tank, and whether the rematch will finally provide the answers fans on both sides are looking for. But if Roach is being honest, he's already shaken up the sport. That's why his life is already changing.
Nas, you got anything else for Lamont?
Yo, last question. I just want to know, how has your life changed since the fight, man? You know, obviously we follow each other on social media. I see your followers went up, all of the other stuff kind of going up. How has things changed for you since the fight has happened?
Bro, literally overnight, it changed. Like, I ain't gonna lie, I gotta walk around with security. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I walk around with my peoples. Like, it's crazy. I can't do the same stuff that I used to do. Like, I can't go to the grocery store. I can't go nowhere, bro. Like, I can't do nothing. And it's crazy. Like, it's just crazy because
Shakur. Stevenson has been lurking in the background while the controversy surrounding Gervonta Davis and Lamont Roach Jr. continues to unfold. With all eyes on Tank's future, whether it's a rematch, a suspension, or something else, Stevenson is inching closer to being part of the conversation. If things keep heading in this direction, we might finally see him share the ring with Davis. For a long time, a Stevenson versus Davis fight has been one of the most talked about potential matchups in boxing. Stevenson, known for his defensive brilliance and ability to control fights with precision, has long been considered a serious threat to Davis's aggressive, knockout-heavy style. But according to veteran trainer Abel Sanchez, Stevenson needs to adjust his approach if he wants to beat either Davis or Roach.
Who we looking to fight next? Like, Tank over, win, lose, draw, whatever. Who you want next? So if y'all don't know, after I beat Tank, I'm gonna go back down to 130 and try to do some smoke that I got down there. All the champions. I got smoke with all the champions. I wanted to unify at least one belt at 130. So whoever the champion is, whoever the champions are, hopefully I can just line them up and then take them out. It's good fights. The fights are the champions are Lomachenko, Shakur, and another guy from Ukraine with Dennis Baranchik or something like that. I thought you want Shakur. I think people in the comments actually want that fight out there. Pretty something that'd be a good fight. It'll be a good fight. Yeah, they can fight. Shakur can boogie for sure.
The same goes for Roach, who proved against Davis that he's not afraid to stand in the fire and push the pace. Roach's performance against Tank showed that he's more than capable of pressing an elite opponent and forcing them to fight his kind of fight. If Stevenson wants to handle either of them, he might need to step out of his comfort zone. That's exactly what Sanchez is getting at when he says Shakur has to be a little more forceful. I think to deal with these guys, I don't think that his approach can stay the way it is now and be able to deal with a Lamont or with a Gervonta.
Tank will fight the rematch. What happens with him and Shakur? How do you see that?
Stevenson has a reputation as being the best defender in the division. He is a feared fighter because of that particular quality. If I'm Tank Davis and I'm coming off a disappointment in terms of my offensive output, I'm not going straight to the best defender in the division. I'm looking for some other fight, and I think the logical fight for him is a rematch with Lamont Roach. Let's see it again. Let's see if Roach can go ahead and capitalize on what he showed here tonight, which is he was a much better fighter at 135 pounds than most of us expected him to be.
Okay, who do you lean towards in Gervonta versus Shakur if that does happen? Who are your favorite?
Based on what I saw tonight.
But if Stevenson does make those adjustments, the fight becomes even more intriguing. Unlike Roach, Stevenson wouldn't need to take the fight to Davis in the same way. He has the reach, reflexes, and ring IQ to neutralize Davis's explosiveness. If he's willing to step up the activity and make sure he's not just edging rounds but clearly winning them, he could pose a serious challenge to Davis.
Going through your mind when you heard the decision?
Nobody like a draw, you know, from a guy that get knockouts and things like that, but it's cool. I feel like if we fight again, I could do more, and I should have did more. I was lost in I lost track in the rounds.
As things stand, Stevenson has his next fight lined up, but the conversation is shifting. The Roach-Davis rematch is a possibility, but if Tank gets suspended, or if negotiations fall apart, Stevenson could be next in line. And if that happens, he'll have a chance to prove whether his style can truly shut down Davis, or if he'll need to take more risks to claim his biggest win yet.